Imagine walking down a once vibrant street, now eerily silent. This was El Salvador's reality, with 3,000 homicides annually before President Bukele's war on gangs. Today, 75,000 alleged gang members are incarcerated in new mega-prisons, transforming communities. Behind these numbers lie untold stories of families torn apart. Has this drastic measure truly made El Salvador safer, or is it simply exchanging one form of violence for another? We investigate the human impact of this controversial policy, exploring the complex reality behind the headlines and statistics. El Salvador's descent into gang-controlled chaos didn't happen overnight. The roots of MS-13 and Barrio 18's power stretch back decades, intertwining with the country's tumultuous history of civil war and economic instability. As these gangs grew in strength and numbers, the brutality of gang violence left deep scars on Salvadoran society. One mother recounted finding her teenage son's mutilated body, left as a warning to others. Such stories eroded trust and frayed community bonds. Education suffered as schools became battlegrounds, leading to high dropout rates and limited opportunities for youth. Living under constant threat took a psychological toll. Many Salvadorans reported symptoms of anxiety and depression, struggling to envision a future free from gang control. Trust in institutions eroded as corruption scandals revealed the extent of gang influence in politics and law enforcement. El Salvador reached a breaking point in early 2019, when gang violence claimed the lives of several high-profile victims, including a well-known journalist and a respected community leader. These deaths sparked nationwide protests, with citizens demanding decisive action to reclaim their country. It was against this backdrop of desperation and anger that Nayib Bukele emerged as a political force. His campaign promised a radical new approach to tackling gang violence, resonating with a population hungry for change. As Nayib Bukele took office in June 2019, El Salvador's landscape of violence and fear was about to undergo a seismic shift. The new president's approach to combating gangs would push the limits of law, morality, and human rights, forcing the nation to grapple with a difficult question: how much freedom are people willing to sacrifice for safety? Bukele immediately declared war on gangs, implementing aggressive policies that reshaped the criminal justice system. His administration passed laws allowing extended detentions without judicial warrants, giving police unprecedented power to arrest suspects based on identity and address. This effectively suspended due process rights for those accused of gang affiliation. The government also ramped up surveillance and data analysis to identify and track suspected gang members. These measures, combining legal changes and technological advancements, formed a unified strategy to dismantle gang networks. At the heart of Bukele's anti-gang infrastructure stands SECOT Prison, Latin America's largest correctional facility. Designed specifically to house gang members en masse, SECOT features communal cells holding up to 80 inmates each. It's more than just a prison, it's an impenetrable fortress. SECOT boasts 19 watchtowers, a 15,000-volt electric fence, and a reinforced concrete enclosure capable of withstanding a tank attack. Jammers prevent telephone communication within a 2-kilometer radius, isolating inmates from the outside world. The government's tactics extended beyond incarceration. In a chilling move, they began destroying the graves of known gang members, erasing their legacy and preventing cemeteries from becoming shrines. As these extreme measures took hold, El Salvador's streets began to feel safer. Homicide rates plummeted, offering hope to a population long accustomed to fear. However, the changes came at a cost, with many questioning the ethics of such drastic policies. Gustavo Villatoro, Bukele's Minister of Justice and Public Security, defended the government's stance. As debates raged over the morality of these actions, Villatoro stated firmly, "We are at war," encapsulating the administration's unyielding approach to restoring order in a country that had been held hostage by gang violence for decades. As El Salvador's streets grow safer, a chilling question emerges. How many innocent lives are being sacrificed in the name of security? The aggressive anti-gang policies implemented by President Bukele's administration have created a fortress-like atmosphere where safety comes at the price of freedom. Amnesty International's director for the Americas expressed deep concern over the potential for innocent individuals to be caught in this sweeping crackdown, representing a broader global worry about human rights violations. Reports have surfaced of police conducting arrests without warrants, often failing to provide clear reasons for detaining individuals. Marvin, a former police officer, revealed that government-imposed quotas demand a minimum number of arrests each day, resulting in police detaining individuals without sufficient evidence. The human cost of these policies is staggering. Maribel, a mother of 3, has been living a nightmare since her son Jorge was arrested on suspicion of gang affiliation while returning home from work. Convinced of her son's innocence, Maribel has been forced to sell everything she owns in a desperate attempt to secure his release. Her story illustrates the devastating impact of wrongful imprisonment on families across El Salvador. Beyond the immediate effects on those arrested, a climate of anxiety permeates Salvadoran society. Citizens now live with the constant fear of being wrongfully targeted at any moment, simply for being in the wrong place or fitting a certain profile. The government's crackdown has also led to a significant erosion of press freedom, with journalists facing intimidation and restrictions when attempting to cover issues related to the anti-gang measures. This suppression of media freedom limits public access to information and hinders accountability. The tension between civil liberties and state security measures came to a head during a demonstration against the government's policies, where families of the wrongfully imprisoned faced police repression, highlighting the growing divide between the government and its citizens. Despite mounting evidence of civil liberties violations, the Minister of Justice defended the government's approach, asserting that the potential for innocent people to be imprisoned is a necessary sacrifice to restore order and safety in El Salvador. This stark admission raises profound questions about the ethical implications of the government's strategy. As El Salvador grapples with this new reality, a complex picture emerges. The streets are undeniably safer, with homicide rates plummeting. However, the cost in terms of human rights and civil liberties appears staggering. The country now faces a critical juncture. Can a balance be struck between security and individual freedoms, or will the pendulum swing too far in one direction? El Salvador's transformation under President Bukele has seen plummeting homicide rates, but at a steep cost. Human rights organizations warn of arbitrary arrests and wrongful imprisonments, suggesting these tactics may lead to long-term issues. Critics argue that mass incarceration could exacerbate existing problems rather than solve them. As we reflect on El Salvador's journey, we're left questioning the sustainability and justice of this iron-fisted approach. The trade-off between liberty and security extends beyond borders, challenging us all to consider the balance in our own societies. How far should a government go to ensure public safety? What are the long-term consequences of eroding civil liberties in pursuit of order? El Salvador's story invites us to examine the complex interplay between safety and freedom, reminding us that these questions resonate globally. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe. Until next time, have a pleasant day.